Hey students, how you guys doing? Hope you guys have been doing okay with the other modules and enjoyed learning about the hydrosphere, the coasts, for rivers and groundwater, and basically anywhere we get our water from, and the interactions of that water with our geosphere. So now the rest of the term is, I've actually just compiled everything for the rest of the term into one module. And the reason is because it's all about one basic subject. Multiple chapters, but one basic subject, and that's the atmosphere. And how the atmosphere actually interacts with us. So in this module, we also will discuss pretty heavily about hurricanes, and part of that is because we are living in an area that is subject to that, as we know for this semester, as we got hit by Hurricane Florence, and then Michael came through as well, and so those are issues that we'll be discussing a little bit in this last unit. So just realize that that's all this. Module 12 is just that topic. Now, within that, you do have multiple chapters that we're looking at. We're looking at chapters 17, 18, and 19. But remember that to focus on the objectives at hand, because this is a lot of material to cover in one module. But I don't want to go into depth about every single one of those ideas within the chapters. So focus on what you see in the objectives. If you do your reading and focus it to what the objectives say, you should do fine. But just realize that. And some of the sections I specifically say only these sections, but other ones have it scattered throughout the chapters. So I tell you to make sure you focus on the specific objectives within that. Especially also when we do our assignments, our quizzes, I try to focus the subjects on the things that I want you to get out of the material, and also the lecture slides will help you focus that as well. Okay. So the objectives this time are kind of threefold in a sense. So let's go through them a little bit. In chapter 7, I specifically want you to understand basic atmospheric properties, describe what clouds are and how they produce precipitation, and really what's driving the production of that precipitation. So I apologize if I'm kind of stuffy today. My allergies are bugging me pretty bad. And we're going to try to figure out how interactions between radiation, atmosphere, control the temperature on the Earth's atmosphere and the surface of the Earth itself. In chapter 18, we're going to be explaining how our planet's atmosphere constantly flows on a global scale. So we're going to be talking about things like Hadley cells and the convection and issues related to that, and our different climate zones within our planet. We're going to discuss how tropical rainforests and tropical subtropical deserts develop, and why we have arid environments in those regions. That's related to that Hadley cells. I'll show you how forces acting in the atmosphere generate hurricanes. This is going to be a big part of what we talk about. We're going to go into a lot of detail about that in our lectures. So that's actually a big objective, one that we're going to be discussing quite a bit. Describe the relationship between weather fronts and jet streams. Okay, so that's going to be an important part of it. Then chapter 18 will be explaining the basic conditions that lead to a thunderstorm. Okay, differentiate between severe weather watches and warnings. So we'll talk about that. We're talking about tornadoes in a sense. Know how to protect yourself against thunderstorm hazards, and then describe how these tornadoes form, how they're classified, and the cause of destruction. Now, those are all the objectives, but one I'm going to be focusing on a lot is that one in 18.3, which we're going to be going into a lot more detail on hurricanes in our lecture slides than the book goes into. So just realize that we're going to be focusing on that one a little bit as we go through this. Now, in the readings, as we go through here, make sure that you understand what I'm specifically asking you to read. In chapters 18 and 19, make sure you focus on those objectives, but mostly, especially the ones portioned about the hurricanes. That's an important one. But go through that, and there's a lot of material through there, but remember, this is for the rest of the semester, the rest of the term. So it shouldn't be that bad. Okay, always do your reading quizzes. We'll have reading quizzes for some of the chapters, some of them I don't. In this one here, in the lecture material, I do have the lecture material in these sites. I didn't realize that I don't have them in closed captions. I'm going to try to see if I can fix that. But these ones, I like them. That you see them within that. You can zoom them out further. but it doesn't have closed caption right now, so I'm going to have to fix that. Anyways, if you have questions, please let me know. Like I said, this is a large, this is for the rest of the class, so make sure that you understand the material there. There is some additional videos there as well if you have any problems. Still have your Chapter 17 activity, which will be there, Chapter 18 activity, and then your Chapter 19 activity. And this time we will have our last discussion. This discussion will be regarding hurricanes and hurricane tracking. It's going to basically, we're going to talk about how many hurricanes have happened in your area where you live. Now, when you do this discussion, a couple of things to keep in mind is that some of you guys live in areas that aren't as frequented with hurricanes as others. So, for example, if you live in the Piedmont area or something like that, I would suggest that you don't base this off of necessarily where you live, if that's the case. If you live far away from like a Charleston, and, not Charleston, but I mean Charlotte, or in the Raleigh-Durham area, or Greensboro, Asheboro, any of those areas like that, you don't get hit by hurricanes as often. And because of that, I would suggest that you change where your focus is. Maybe do it in Pembroke if you want, or you could do it in some of the other cities like Wilmington, Fayetteville, or things like that. It's places that might be hit more often by hurricanes. And so, just understand that this is not going to work very well if you do it in other places. So if you live in those places that don't have very many hurricanes, please try to pick one of these other locales and look at that. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be examining historical hurricane tracks, understand how that works. There is a video here that teaches you how to do that, and to work with the software, with the website a little bit. Remember to watch the video, because there are some things that people don't understand very well when they go through it. This should help you understand it better. Okay, so what you're going to post is how many hurricanes have come within 100 miles of your town. You're going to describe the frequency of this, and then you're going to do that. Now, the video tells us a lot more about that, so make sure you understand that. Other than that, this will be your exam review, in exam 3. I will have to change that date. Sorry, that's a mistake of mine. I'll change that there. But that's really what you got. It's not that, it shouldn't be that tough. It's pretty straightforward. And you do have a last exam quiz, just kind of to review, and then go from there. Okay. I'll fix the dates on some of those things in the material. I didn't realize they're still there, and hopefully this will be good for you. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, always shoot me an email. I know this semester has been tough on some of you guys because of the storms and because of other things that are going on, and this has been a tough one for me this semester too. I've had a lot of personal issues that we had to deal with, and also the storms as well. So thank you for bearing with me to this semester. As always, if you have questions, let me know.